shared on Instagram yesterday a moment in your life that you don't hear you talk about very often. You talk about why you decided that was time to share and what your message was.
Just an internal conversation, um, with the people I was talking with. I felt that I always have it marked on my calendar each and every year. I call it my resurrection day, um, because a lot of me um, changed that day for obvious reasons, and it ended up, my biggest scar, in essence, being embarrassed, ended up being my biggest star. And I talk to kids all the time, and just people all the time that have made mistakes. We've all made mistakes, but I just don't ever want to get beside myself to ever feel like somebody says, Cam, well, you always been X, Y, Z, when that hasn't been the case. When I'm a perfect example of a person that's been persistent throughout my career, knowing that I just trying to make the most of the hand that I was dealt, and just trying to give hope to whoever sees this. And looking back at the post, I feel as if I probably got more likes in that one than I probably have in the last year or so. So that just goes to show you, I'm trying to use my influence in a positive way, as I always say.
Including the mugshot, Cam, that seemed to send a powerful message too. Did you was that your point as well?
That's everything. Like I just like oftentimes, when you get to a position of power or even success, you kind of forget, the bridge that brought you over, or you kind of, forget certain things that happen. And, oftentimes, I think back at Dream College. I think back, when I was at Florida. I think back, when I was even at Auburn, and just kind of try to put that carrot back in my life by getting better each and every day. But more importantly, man, I'm put here to be a servant. I'm just trying to, impact and empower people, all ages, shapes, sizes, colors, creeds. It doesn't matter. I'm just here, to try to impact my environment as much as possible. So when I added the mug shot, that made it real. I wasn't just on the holding cell. Like, if you really look into to that picture, you seen green and white. That wasn't a polo sweater. You know what I'm saying? So, that day it got as real as it is ever has gotten in my life, and to realize that if I want what I want in life, this is the determining factor. I hate it that it came to this, but it's been many things that has happened that I didn't react to, and that was the only thing that reacted. Me, being suspended, and ultimately, feeling as if, for the betterment of my career, moving on. And that was even hard, knowing that I had people that I've invested so much time and emotions to. So, just learning from that whole situation, and hopefully somebody got something from it.
Easy post for you to write?
It wasn't. Like I said, I've always been contemplating, you know, finding out how to tell it. And I just said, you know what, screw it. I just won't. I was having an interesting conversation with somebody recently, and we was even talking about, you know, the past couple of months of my media things on the field and off the field. And to be honest, my response was, I don't want to be the poster child of perfection. Because when you put yourself up on that pinnacle, when you finally mess up, that's when it comes tumbling down. I want people to look at me and say, man, look, Cam's still going strong, but look at the mistakes that he's made. And I just want to be an example of things that I'm still a work in progress myself. So for me to say I'm perfected, I'll be lying to you. So, when I hear the criticism, in the media or whatever, it doesn't fuel the negative side of me. It just proves to me that I still need to get better, and that's not bad, for a person to feel that way. And for me, from on the field progression to even off the field, including media wise, I'm still a work in progress, and I want people, that sees me to get that of me.
Do you feel Like this helps shatter the negative stigma of imperfection?
Well, I think sometimes when you're in my position or, in the limelight of being a professional athlete, you always are hit with the, what about your image? What about your image? What about, this? What about that? And, to be honest, oftentimes, I really don't care about it, because if it's not me, it's not me. I'm not about to sit up here and do nothing that's gonna come off corny. That's not me. If it's corny and I'm with it, then that's me. But if it's something that somebody wants me to do, and for the people who have invested in me, sponsorship wise, and they know that as well. Like if I'm not with it, I'm not with it, and I feel as if that goes a long way.
Cam, you talked about yourself being a work in progress. Is that fair to say about this offense and how this offense is, I guess, evolving during the season? You're coming off a bye week where you scored 45 points.
Well, I think the game of football is, every team is always a work in progress, because if that be the case, the predictions that people have had, week one is the power rankings, when the NFL started getting power rankings, they would have not have changed. It's been as much of a shuffle, and as Coach Shula always says, just give the league 2 weeks and everything's going to change. That deck of cards is going to get cut, shuffled again, and shuffled again. And it's great teams out there. So for us to be one of those teams, we just trying to maximize on the things that we can. Having a great day of practice today, that's a great start for us. Being attentive in meetings and knowing that, handling the what ifs. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. It's going to be a lot of distractions with a lot of family coming to town, but yet, staying focused and staying clear of the task at hand, knowing that we still got our hands full come Sunday.
And use a quote of yours, you got your dog back, and you got Khalil back as well. Just talk about them being back on the practice field and how much of an influence it's going to be this week.
He brings a calming presence. Not that anything has been a lack of production in that tight end room, with him absent. But Greg is just a pro's pro. With the addition to him as well as Ryan, and those guys, it's just a extra piece to the puzzle that we've been longing missing. We expect to have the same Ed, expecting the same have the same blitz decks out there, and knowing that those guys are going to give 110%. But with the addition to them, we're bound to be even better.
And back on your message yesterday, had you grown up with any guys, in Atlanta that had kind of squandered their opportunities and that sort of thing along the way?
Where do I begin? You know what I'm saying? Like it's, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. It don't get no realer than that. I oftentimes I go back home. I'm pretty much home as much as I can be. Obviously with my family being there, and I see guys, who I grew up with, and some guys I don't. I just get the update of them, and when I hear this person got this person got that, this is reality. So it's not nothing new. And I really pride myself on being that person that can, touch so many, people in different circumstances. You know what I'm saying? You're not saying, a lot of other 31 quarterbacks in this league can go or do what I can and can't do. I just want to be able to be touched and talked to as if, my foundation event, that's one example. Just being able to talk to a convicted felon, go and, and understand what they're going through, and also just try to give them hope, for a person that probably made a mistake, no matter what it was, to try to be better from it. So, I got guys that's, in penitentiary, incarcerated, family members that's incarcerated, but yet that doesn't define them. We all are owed a second chance, even third and fourth chances. But, it's what you learn from it, really what defines you.
Sure.
terms of the learning, you have not had any sort of off-the-field negative headlines associated with that. How big was, how have you, what did you learn from that, and have you made a conscious effort to sort of remove yourself from certain influences or that kind of thing?
As I stated in that message, I vowed to myself, that was one thing. I don't really do drugs, and never did any type of drugs that was an issue, with our RV. Not an alcohol drinker like that, outside of some wine every now and then, but I try to stay very sharp with my mentality, and I think what helps that is when you have a supporting cast of people around you that gets that. When they sense harm in a situation, they're trying to get you out of there as much as possible, or trying to protect you as much as possible, and having real conversations with certain individuals that make you aware that everybody in your life isn't trying to see you win the Super Bowl. That's just facts. Knowing that, sometimes the devil's always lurking and trying to find ways to hurt you in any way, shape, form, emotionally or even physically. So, for me, I've always, prayed for discretion and trying to find out people's true intentions and trying to, sidestep anything that can hinder me from being my better self.
With Greg getting back in the flow of things, is it a smooth blend back in there? Have you seen that him being integrated back into the?
A lot of it's going to be, contingent upon, how our success is going to be. I can kind of see both sides. Greg looks rusty, or Greg picks up right where he left off. And, you probably got that already in your column, ready to shoot it. But nevertheless, man, it's gonna be on us to go out there and do exactly what we've been doing in the past couple of weeks. Greg obviously brings an explosive attack to our game that's very methodical and very efficient. But it's going to be on me, like it has been, to be able to decipher who gets the ball and go where the defense dictates.
Blend for you to go back to that, knowing how big of a target he's been over the years for you?
It's not tough at all. He's easy. He's an easy target to throw to, and he's not. I think the biggest attribute that a Greg has, a person like Greg, and even Ed for that matter, they're very selfless, because whether he has 5 catches or 5 pancake blocks and we still win, those are the guys that we need on this team. And, I can say the same about a lot of people in that locker room. So it's not going to, he's not the guy to stomp his feet coming off the field, saying that he didn't get any touches or catches. We're all in it for the same reason, and that's just to win football games. And hopefully, everybody, all hands on deck, is going to be on display, to try to get a much-needed win come Sunday.
What do the Jets look like defensively, Ken?
Well, they have a familiar face that we're very familiar with, but on top of that, their front seven is very skillful, very rangy safeties, young talent, that can straight play, man. They play with a lot of enthusiasm. So if we don't bring our spark, man, and start fast, then that's going to be one of the keys. If not, that is one of the keys for us to win football game, or this football game. So we're going to be ready. We understand, what those guys are playing for. What those guys are pretty much all about. But we can't allow those guys to dictate to us. We have to go out there with a sound mind, knowing that we got to execute.
What do you remember about in 2015? It was right around the same time where your numbers just exploded and the offense just exploded. That may be similar to what happened against Miami last week.
Well, I'm not sure. I just got to, stay focused, and my numbers, in my opinion, are meaningless if we don't get a win, especially during this time of the year. that's been our main focus, being that November, December team that wins late in the season, and that tells a lot about your team. So we're geared for this, we're ready for this, and we'll be expecting a big win on Sunday.
What are you expecting from Coney?
Nothing, but I'm hoping, but I wish him the best, except for this game. All right, thank you.